Hey, how's it going? So I just want to start out this video with asking you a question. And it's the same question that I've been asking myself for the past few years. The question is that you've built a life for yourself, right? Or at least you're in the process of doing that. And you've done what you think that you're supposed to do in order to become successful or make a living. But why does it feel like you're stuck? Because that's how I felt. Why does everything feel like everything's changing around you and you're still in the same place? Well, I know the feeling because at 45, I was right there too. I was at a transition point, and this was only about 2 years ago. And I've kind of lived an unconditional sort of wild life, I guess you'd say. Bartended forever, did photography, played in a band, and even owned a bar in Costa Rica for about 10 years. And during this phase, every day felt like an adventure. I mean, it really was an adventure. And it was like I was living the dream, right? Well, yeah, but kind of. I'm not gonna lie, it was a hell of a run. It was great and it was challenging beyond belief all at the same time on a daily basis. But when it was time to move back to the States, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was pretty lost. A middle-aged guy just kind of wondering what's next. I didn't really think that I was too old to start over, but I started to kind of wonder about my opportunities or where I kind of fit in this new world that I had moved into. You start asking yourself questions like, maybe it's too late or maybe my best days are behind me. But then everything started to change and it was one skill at a time. And honestly, that's all that it takes to kind of rewrite your future. And to be honest with you, I had a pretty big skill set because I had been doing so many things for so many years. But who am I now as a middle-aged soccer dad landing back in the United States? So as I was making the transition, I kind of did what was in front of me, what was available to me at the time. And my wife was super passionate about real estate and she's really good at it. So I dove into the whole real estate investing business. And I did what I could to learn as much as I can as fast as I could in order to kind of build up this thing for her and for us at the time. But during this time, I realized that it wasn't exactly for me. It wasn't who I was and it wasn't who I was really trying to become. I had always been a very creative person with music and photography and design. Those are the things that really fueled me, but real estate didn't really spark that fire. So I tried making YouTube videos and creating content for the real estate business, but it still felt like something was missing until one day I heard about this thing called ChatGPT. And I'm the kind of person I'm always into learning new stuff, trying new tech. I'm always dabbling, and I mean, to a fault, because I'm all over the place a lot of the time. But when I found ChatGPT, it opened up a whole new world of thought and ideas and possibilities. As soon as I started diving in, my mind started to race with potentials and possibilities. My creative brain, it saw endless opportunities. At first, I was a little bit too far ahead with what I was trying to do based on the technology. I thought I could do everything immediately, but I quickly realized that it had its limitations. But I kept trying, I kept pushing. And suddenly I started to think about and open back up these projects that I had put on hold for years. In my mind, and after working with these tools, they actually became possible again. Things like telling stories, designing, building apps, creating content, exploring AI-driven business opportunities became this thing. Not only were some of these ideas possible, but it was becoming easier and sometimes even more fun to create them. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had something that actually made me feel again. I was coming off this high of pure adventure every day, the ups and downs of all that stuff. So coming back to the gray walls of the US, sitting in a house, trying to figure out my future, it was very hard to kind of feel. But the excitement of this kind of new realm and this new future, it actually made me feel something again. So as I started diving into tools like ChatGPT and image generators and video generators and app creators and all these new AI tools, I realized that the possibilities were kind of endless. But I also recognized that this was a completely different and new world to navigate. It was kind of this new sort of digital frontier that nobody really knew about. For someone like me, this is exciting. Every week something is dropping, something's new, and I love diving in and figuring things out. But I also realized that many people my age may feel overwhelmed by this whole thing. You see the world changing, but you don't know exactly where to start. And a lot of people, they think that AI is only for tech nerds, that it's complicated and it's not for people like you and me. But they're wrong. And you know what? The hardest thing about learning AI isn't really just mastering the tools. It's really conquering that little voice that you hear, that little voice that whispers, you're too old for this, or maybe you missed your shot, or this is a young people game, man. Get out of it. And that voice, That voice right there, that's the real challenge. It's the mental barrier that keeps most of us from even trying. But here's what I realized. If I could pick up my whole entire life and move to a new country, start from scratch, and adapt to a new language and culture, why can't I do the same thing in this new AI world? The way that I see it, AI is like learning a new language in a foreign land. Some of us, like myself, we choose to dive into this world. But many of us right now, we're being thrown into it. The world around us is shifting so rapidly, and those who don't learn this new language, they may be left behind. And that's where I want to come in. See, I love learning how to navigate this new AI shift. And my goals are to share what I learn to help you adapt, overcome self-doubt, and embrace this new reality. Because, it is what it is. So you might as well try and have some fun with it in the meanwhile. If a former bartender, bar owner, who lived in the jungle of Costa Rica for 10 years can start building AI tools, what's stopping you? I don't have a tech degree. I don't write code, but I build AI tools and workflows almost every day. Since discovering tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Make.com, Bolt, Zapier, and all the new image and video generators that are coming out all the time, I've been able to build multiple apps, and this is without prior coding experience. And I've also learned to recreate and tell stories from my past with the help of these brand new AI tools. I've been able to create AI workflows that save me hours of time. And I've also used AI to kind of refine my creative process, to brainstorm new ideas and even automate parts of my daily work, freeing up time to focus on the bigger goals and the things that really matter to me, which is watching my son grow and helping him achieve his goals. I've gone from a guy dabbling in code a long time ago to someone who understands how to leverage the power of AI to create these new tools. And the best part is that I feel like I'm just getting started. But this isn't just about AI tools. It's about reclaiming control of your future. It's about understanding that we have the power to adapt, pivot, and reinvent ourselves. See, I've seen people in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and even older completely transform their lives and their careers. And the thing is that these opportunities have never been more accessible. So if you feel stuck, I completely get it. But the only way that you're really out of moves is if you decide that you're out of moves and you don't feel like trying anymore. So here's my question to you. What are you gonna do to navigate this new world of sorts? What steps will you take to learn the language of this new digital landscape? Leave a comment if you've already started this journey or if you're just about to begin, because this is what I do every day. Diving in, learning, just trying to figure this whole thing out. And through this journey, I'll share as much as I really have time for. The ups and downs, the lessons that I learned, all the things in between. I also recently did a 40-day deep dive into Bolt.new, just trying to figure out how to make better apps. So if that's something that you're into, you can check out my other videos on this journey and subscribe to get more updates. But the main point is that it's never too late to reinvent yourself. It's never too late to learn something new. And most importantly, it's never too late to take control of your future. So if you've thought about exploring AI or automation or new creative ventures, now is the time to get going. Start small, experiment, but don't be afraid to fail. But also, don't be afraid to learn and grow. The world isn't waiting, so really, why should you? We'll see you on the next one.